Before we get into this week's episode, She Sets a Standard London Live is back. Friday, the 13th of November, 2026, we are hosting the third edition of the premium business event in Europe. The theme for this year is decisions from a different dimension, because you do not need more information. You don't need another strategy. You don't need to look at somebody else's framework to know how to run your business. It is about taking decisions from a completely different vantage point, tapping into that self-trust, and feeling that aliveness in your business. We have an incredible selection of speakers who have built businesses to insane levels of success, are sharing how they made that happen, the decisions that made that happen, and that they're still doing today as they continue to run industry category leading businesses. And you will immerse yourself in the experience of setting the standard that you want to lead with next. We do not design this event to be a place where you come and listen and sit back and get information. It is about changing, shifting your identity and what you see as possible in the room. The tickets for She Sets a Standard are live now. I cannot wait to see who's in that room and to see the breakthroughs from this year. Get your ticket in the show notes. Let's stop just thinking about pushing out content as a means to just sell our offers. The game changer in how you are able to grow your business and have high relevancy for your clients and keep it no matter what technology does is that you are able to distribute your thinking, not distribute more content, distribute your thinking in more impactful ways. Welcome to Rich Work, the podcast for established female entrepreneurs ready to turn their expertise into premium clients and consistent high-ticket revenue. I'm Rachel Pearson, global brand and business strategist, skincare obsessed, and always distracted by booking the next mini break. Here you'll learn how to position like a luxury brand, attract clients who love to invest, and build wealth that actually lasts, so you can create the business and life you want, not someone else's version of success. This is where premium positioning and building wealth meet for women who are rewriting the rules. Let's get into it. As we head into the second part of this year, we are going to dive into a mini summer series all around my predictions for the end of this year, but also what I think we're going to see in 2027. I have my crystal ball out, obviously, in front of me, and I'm going to be sharing what I see is happening because these are the conversations that I'm already in with my clients. And one of the key things that I'm always looking at, because it is so important when you lead a business that is premium, is what's next. It's not about following the next trend or doing the next shiny AI thing. It is about staying ahead of what is relevant for you to be at the cutting edge of for your business, in your niche, for your clients. So we're going to do 5 episodes of looking at what's ahead. I'm going to dive into a key area that I think is going to blow up over, well, I already see it happening, but I think it's going to become even bigger, and give you some thoughts about how it can apply to you. Now, not everything will be immediately clear from these episodes into how you take it straight into your business, because if you've listened to this podcast for a while, you will not be surprised to hear that I'm not going to show up and say, this is what's working in content at the moment. This is how to sell out your offer. This is how to price it. I will go into strategy. I will give you my take on it. But also that is not what is going to help you to be category leading. The way that you make decisions from a completely different perspective, from broadening out how you think about things through listening to things that kind of blow your mind, but at the same time, you're like, what the heck do I do with that? That is always how I have seen the greatest entrepreneurs, business people that I have worked with have continued to stay ahead. They don't learn from the conversations that are immediately available to them. They learn from and tap into adjacent conversations that are happening in industries that really don't have that much to do with what they're doing right now, but they get inspiration from them, that take them out of the comfort level of how they think and the default that they've got into of running their business, and just completely blow open how they think about their offers, their pricing, because something has sparked them to take a different decision, to ask a different question, and to shift in a completely different perspective. So that is my intention with this summer series as well, is to open up your thinking to what's next. Even if you can't yet see how it might apply to your business, just be open-minded, see what comes through for you. In this episode, I'm going to talk about how I see the structure of businesses are moving, online businesses, even if you have a very simple business that is just you. So when I say the structure of businesses, your mind might go to, okay, I have to have a massive team, I have to have multiple different parts to my business. This is about how you think about your business, not about how much you have in place. The businesses that I see are developing the fastest right now and that are really preparing for how to stay relevant in an industry, in a space that is going to be dominated by AI. There is no two ways about this, and I don't think it's a bad thing. There is going to be a big shift in how we use AI in our businesses. It's not going to be about how we do content. It's not about how we're going to be buying everybody's AI bots. It's going to be how we run our businesses. That's what AI is going to really help with in the future. But what that also does is it really frees up a lot of time from doing repetitive tasks, from doing tasks that traditionally did take a lot of time to do. And it means that we can be a lot more creative in our businesses, and we can really focus on how we enable more people to connect with our brands and our thinking. So this is my big prediction, my bombshell moment. I think that most businesses that exist right now as personal brand businesses, and if you are saying, I don't have a personal brand, if you are in business and you are not behind a big corporate brand, you have a personal brand. Whether you want to leverage it or not, that's up to you. If you're an online business and you have a personal brand, I know product-based businesses have personal brands as well, but I'm really focused on online, then the future of your business will be thinking about it as a media company. I've been talking about this with my clients for, well, I was going to say months then, but it's actually been years now that I've been saying this. But your business has huge potential, more than you see right now, if you start to think about it as a media company and not as a business that you have to create content for. What really sparked me or inspired me to come and talk about this series today is that I realized how much I've been talking about this with clients and behind the scenes, and particularly in my consultancy work. And again, like I do with a lot of my clients, I help them to bring things forward. I hadn't been talking about this publicly. And then I saw a job description, which was on LinkedIn. And I don't know, things just seem to come up, right? When you need to see them, they come up. And it was for a guy who is in the UK called Sam Thompson, who he's not in luxury, he's not in premium, but he really made me stop and think, this is what's happening. And I saw a job description that actually his sister posted, who was also in the UK media space. Both of them came originally through reality TV. So they both came through a show called Made in Chelsea, which when it first came out, I watched it. And I'll be honest, I still watch it now. I mean, who am I to sit here and pretend that I don't? I do. I love a bit of reality TV. And Sam then went on to do other reality TV shows. He won I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. He's built his brand around a lot of authenticity, really talking about mental health openly for men. And he has podcasts, lots of different parts, right? The thing that struck me when I saw this job description was that he was advertising for a senior content manager and a strategist, a full-time role paying up to 10K a month. But the job description read like a media operation. It was about owning and executing the strategy across multiple social platforms, so Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, beyond. It was also filming and packaging day-to-day life into compelling content narrative, managing short form distribution, managing storytelling, pacing, how you retain viewers into, advocates of the brand, how to manage their workflows, collaborate across the team. That's not a marketing role. It's a executing marketing, but that is a media company hire. And yes, Sam is a personal brand. Like, that is how he has built his fame into monetizing it in the UK. But he's not a corporation. He's a person who has built something so significant that it now requires the infrastructure that a few years ago would have associated with a publishing operation. Now, I know that you are not somebody like Sam Thompson. You are not a influencer. You're not trying to be an influencer. You have not come through reality TV, and your audience is different, right? Your market is different. And this podcast is very much about premium positioning. So you're building for depth, not always volume. Whereas his business through his personal brand is very much about volume, right? He's across a lot of social media channels, multiple platforms, but the principle is the same. So a lot of businesses, online service businesses that operate and are trying to operate in a more premium space are still thinking how they sell their services, sell their offers, and do it via content. And it is small thinking. It is so small. And it doesn't matter how many platforms you're on. I don't mean just multiply the amount of content you're creating. I don't mean that it's small in that way. I mean that even thinking about that content is just a vehicle to sell your offers is not thinking as big as you could be thinking. It doesn't matter what revenue level you're at right now. This is about thinking bigger, right? Not putting yourself into the box of, I run a coaching business, therefore I must show up, sell my services on stories every day. I must post content every day. I must be on LinkedIn. It's like, there are ways that we can get our businesses out there and enable people to get to know about us. But AI is already creating huge efficiencies in how you distribute content, in how you create content, in how you purpose it across multiple platforms. I saw a AI tool the other day where it pretty much became a one man, one woman, one person operation of taking all of the content you've already got and just scheduling it for you, posting it where you want it to be. Now, I'm not saying that this is always high quality, right? This is the way that it's happening right now, but the quality will continue to increase. So when I say that we can be thinking about our businesses as media businesses, it's not about you starting a podcast or how many platforms that you're on. I don't mean the distribution of all of your content. I mean, let's stop just thinking about pushing out content as a means to just sell our offers. The game changer in how you are able to grow your business and have high relevancy for your clients and keep it no matter what technology does is that you are able to distribute your thinking. Not distribute more content, distribute your thinking in more impactful ways. That is what a media company does. If you take it as a really traditional sense, like even before any mention of AI, if we just take it back to like TV, right? TV is about distributing conversations, topical content through multiple channels. That is what a media company does. It's what a publishing house does, is it will take books. Let's go way, way back, like print. You take books. I did an MA in publishing, so I used to work at a publishing house. And you would have your book, and that's somebody's thinking, right? That's somebody's, whether it's a chef, right? I did quite a lot of cookery books. So a chef takes their recipes and it's in the book, but then it's in the spin-offs of the merchandise that go along with that book, the cookware, the aprons, the online content that then supports like YouTube videos that then support actually implementing the recipes. It's the same thinking that's in the recipe book, but it has now been distributed out into multiple channels. That is what a media house does. If TV, publishing, print publishing, magazines now into runway shows, like you look at a magazine like Vogue, it shows like its experiential aspects of going into cities and hosting catwalk fashion shows within those cities with a theme that show upcoming talent. Again, that is all about how Vogue uses its IP, its thinking of being a fashion-forward, innovative fashion magazine to spot emerging talent. So you might be thinking, well, Rachel, I'm not a chef. I'm not Anna Wintour. I'm not on TV and I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to make you to do that. That's not what we are trying to do here. But what I would love for you to start just playing with, just getting a little bit curious about is, where are you minimizing what you are doing, your thinking, the way that you actually distribute all of the gold that you are in conversation with every day with clients, with your own mentors, with your business partner, with your partner at home, with your kids, like everything that you're sharing in conversation, you are trying to shove it into an Instagram post, a LinkedIn post, an email, and they're like, okay, job done. I've distributed it. This is where, when you think from a different perspective, a different dimension, you will come at it totally differently. So we want to think less about how do I create content and get more content out there? How do I create more noise? It's how do I distribute my thinking to create more conversations? That is how you think like a media house. That is what Sam is doing with his job description. Is he is not doing anything, no offense to Sam Thompson, but he's not doing anything revolutionary here. He is a genuinely likable guy who has leveraged every opportunity that he has got. And yes, I am simplifying it. And no, I don't know him. So he might come back and be like, actually, there's a huge business plan around this, Rachel. But he is not invented anything. He is distributing his brand, his authenticity through different media channels. He's not thinking, oh, I want to get to 5 million followers on Instagram. That's not how he's thinking. And it's actually super smart. He is being very savvy in how he is building out his team right now. And this is how it starts to relate to you. When we think about all the ways that buyer behavior is shifting, especially in the premium space, where I've talked about it on this podcast, how people are looking for trust markers. They are looking for, how can I know that you are true and real? Because there is a lot of ways to fake things. So they want to know what I've called this before, but this signature economy. Like, I believe we're in the signature economy, which is where anytime that somebody hears something from you, they see something from you, it has your signature on it. It's not like you've plastered your name all over it, but they can feel like if you took your brand name off it, if I took Rachel Pearson off my Instagram, I want people to know that it's still me. They need to feel it, not just about colors. And yes, my branding is very important, but it's about, do they feel through the words I use, through the spacing that I use in my graphics, through the way that I talk, through the ideas that I bring forward, it has to be me. Signature economy. And this is how people are buying, but especially at this premium price point, is they don't need to see more content, but they do need to see compounding evidence that you are the person that they want to invest with. And compounding evidence doesn't necessarily mean they go to Instagram, then they go to LinkedIn, then they read your email. That is one of the ways that this happens, right? That's integrated marketing, connected marketing. To me, that's the bare minimum. But what they want to feel is that they can connect up your body of thinking, right? This is where the IP, the intellectual property bit comes in. They want to know that if they were in a conversation with you and you didn't have the liberty of sitting down and writing an Instagram post with AI, could you come up with this originality of thinking? Would they be able to get something valuable, useful, insightful from you that is helping them with their problem. This is why I think lives and why I think events are booming so much as well. It's not just about in-person connection. It's because people are like, can you stand on stage? And yes, you'll have gone through and planned your talk, but can you stand on stage and do a Q&A? Can I ask you a question that you have not prepped for and you still be able to answer it? So when I'm thinking about how I'm creating my business, I am thinking of it like a media company. I don't want to run a multiple channels. My business manager will say to you that my goal is to keep it as streamlined as possible. But I think about it like a media company because I'm always thinking, how do I distribute my intellectual property? So when you go to my Instagram, it should, and I hope it does, really connect up with when you come to this podcast. You don't go to Instagram and see me sharing 3 tips about how to create converting content and then come to this podcast and go, what is going on here? She's talking about how all personal brand businesses are going to become media companies. What is going on? My body of work, my thinking is I push the boundaries. I want people to come to me because they're like, you think in a completely different way, because that's how I think. I want to be the one that is innovative, that is not sat back going, how are they doing that framework over there? I wonder how I can just make it a little bit better. I'm a challenger. I'm a disruptor. That's what I do. So I need that to come through in everything that I'm doing, whether you come into my Instagram, whether you come into the debrief, which is my free Telegram channel, whether you're listening to this podcast, it all needs to connect up as my body of work, my thinking. That's how I approach it as a media company, is not how am I creating and repurposing my content. AI will have that covered. It already does, and it's just going to get better. My content always comes from my ideas. I don't use AI to create content. But in terms of repurposing and thinking about, it's going to be able to come up with a publishing strategy. It will be able to tell you exactly when to post. It will schedule it for you. It will be able to pull data. Like AI is going to do all of this stuff. So when I know that AI is going to do all of that and I can see where it's going, I'm thinking, well, how do I become totally irreplaceable? How do I make sure that nothing can copy the patterns that are going on in my brain? Like, I'm pretty sure nothing can copy the patterns that go on in my brain because it is wild, but you are exactly the same. You have original thinking. You have original thought. You have so many of these opportunities every single day. And so my invitation to you from this podcast episode is stop diluting it into thinking that you just need to put it into a content strategy. Content is a vehicle, but distributing your thinking is where you are going to make millions. The media company model is not about volume. It is about creating the architecture so that you can get your thinking out there to more of your right people. So think about, what are you publishing? How does it connect up the body of your work? Where are you doing this? How often? And what is the cumulative effect of this saying to your market about who you are and what you're worth? Because when I'm looking at my business and when I'm looking at my clients' businesses, I'm not asking how many times a week they're posting because I want to make sure that they are committed to their business. That's up to them. If they're not committed to their business, then we've got other things to discuss, right? There's something else going on there. But I want to understand how everything is connecting up because I can see opportunities for them to create this body of work through how they distribute their content, how they distribute their thinking, and also what they're not doing. You know, what we start saying no to, because there is going to be a whole wave that comes up towards the end of this year and going into next year where people are going to go like really far away from AI, which I personally believe is a mistake because it's just going to be a setback. I personally feel like we just need to learn how to use it as humans behind the technology rather than burying our head in the sand, but that's a whole different episode. But we also need to get really discerning about what we decide is not for us. Not every room is the right room to distribute your thinking. Not every platform is the right platform for you to be publishing on. Like, I'm not on TikTok. TikTok is not my place. And it's not only because from a client perspective, but also it's just not a place that I want to be. So I would rather put my attention, my view of my media company into scaling platforms that I know work for me, that connect up my body of work, and that are where my clients already are. So this has given you a taste of what we're going to be diving into over the next few episodes in this summer series. It is designed to shift your thinking into conversations that I think we're going to start hearing more in the mainstream over the next 6 to 12 months beyond. But I am putting my little crystal ball down and saying that this is already happening. It's already moving this direction. If this has sparked interest in you, then this is exactly the kind of conversation that we have at She Sets the Standard, which is my signature business event that happens in November. It is where you do see how to apply this type of thinking into your business. You hear from women that are already doing it, from women that have built incredible businesses and that are able to share their learnings with you. But it's also where you will have conversations that you do not hear at other business events. It's called She Sets the Standard for a reason, because this is where the standard gets set for how we take business forward. And it's not by having the same conversations over and over again. This is where decisions that really move things get made by women who are really innovative, are doing things differently, and are there to support each other in building their own categories, in doing things that haven't been done before, and in thinking bigger than you maybe feel it's okay to think. The tickets are now live for Friday, the 13th of November. It is in London. The link to the tickets is in the show notes. We are already at 50% capacity before announcing the speakers, the full speaker lineup, or the venue. So these tickets will go. I would absolutely love to see you there. If you've got any questions about the event, or you'd love to let me know anything about this episode, you can find all of the links to my Instagram at rachelpearson.co, to my LinkedIn, and to drop us an email as well. And if you've enjoyed this episode, if you enjoy Rich Work, the podcast, I would be hugely appreciative if you could leave us a review, because it just helps other women to find this podcast and to be able to support more of them to build innovative, dynamic, thriving businesses. This is Rich Work. I'm Rachel Pearson, and I will see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to Rich Work. I'd love it if you left a review. It helps other women to find us. In the meantime, follow me on Instagram at rachelpearson.co for a different take on premium positioning, one that's not about fitting a box. See you next week.